Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Want a Podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me, as always, his newest kink is that he likes to watch. It is Scotty Westside.
First of all, let's set the record straight. Not my newest kink.
Okay. True.
Not newest, not by a long shot.
Let the boy watch.
He needs to learn. Also, I am just now realizing there's kind of a lot of watching going on in this episode. Like
there is.
Not only our favorite giant bony boy Drogon, but what's his face? Watches Braun for a bit too.
Oh yeah, Cucky Qyburn is his is his nickname. I heard
that's his official title. You know, Jamie's the Kingslayer, yes. Qyburn's Cucky Qyburn,
the Cuckslayer.
The Cuckslayer. True.
Yeah.
I don't want to know all what Qyburn's kinks are. I think that guy disturbs even me.
I feel like his list of kinks would be longer than like a Walgreens or CVS receipt.
Oh, like, good joke.
Yeah.
Original joke achieved. Way to go, Zach.
Yeah, man.
Did you say Droke?
Yeah, Drogon.
Drogon, true. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Hey, it feels... I feel a little loopy tonight, Scott.
I know I'm loopy because I'm tired as hell.
Yeah.
And I just also realized I forgot to take my contacts out, so my eyes are going to be dry as shit by the time this is over. Because I was at work all day.
A little squinty boy?
I might be a little squinty boy by the end of this.
You're already... I mean, you already do kind of have like little squinty, beady shark eyes.
Yeah. Shark eyes?
Yeah,
that actually sounds cool. That sounds cool as hell, actually. I'll take the shark eyes nickname. I had there was like a friend in college used to call me Garfield because you know how Garfield's eyes are always half closed. She said my eyes were always half closed. So
okay.
that's definitely.
I mean, I thought your nickname would be Garfield because you're just a lazy sack of shit. But all right, we'll go with it's because of the eyes.
It was definitely because of the eyes. Fuck you.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I had a long ass day at work today. We were busy.
Sorry,
we have not recorded on one of my work days in a minute either, and I'm
we
mad
haven't
at
recorded
you.
in a minute, so
no. Yes, we recorded last week, you asshole.
I know, but
we've said that every episode for like
we really have
6 weeks, and it's actually been true up until this one. We're being good podcast boys, for once. Speaking of, we'll get into more of this later, obviously, but I want everyone to know that. Zach wanted me to play Smash Brothers last night with the boys, and I informed him that I needed to do my podcast homework and write us a very thorough and concise recap because this is a very important beginning of season 8 episode. And he was like, "Oh, just have AI write it again." And I was like, "No, Zachary, that would not be the responsible podcast host thing to do. I definitely am going to put all my heart and soul and time into this recap and not play Smash with the boys." So
did you get around to uploading the Smash clips from last night?
I'll do it. I'll do that later.
Okay.
So yes, I want everyone to know, despite how funny and humorous the AI thing was from last week, I made sure to, because no robot can replace our humor. We know that for sure. So don't look at me in that tone of voice, Zach. So yes,
you fucking shut your mouth when you look at me.
Fresh hot content. In the recap that I have definitely written myself, will be coming at you soon. How was your week, buddy?
My week was good, man. It has been. I felt like this week's been pretty busy.
Yeah.
But I did still have some time to do some fun stuff. I Have been working on actually I've been working on a D&D one shot that we're going to be playing together soon.
You say soon, but in Zach's world that could be months.
I mean, it's I'm about ready to send you guys the information to get your characters ready.
Is it coming along?
It really is coming along. Yes.
Hell yeah.
I'm very excited. So yeah, we'll be playing some D&D together here pretty soon. I've been working on that. I randomly, you know what? Okay. I had a hard look at myself.
Same.
Yeah, every day actually.
I'm always hard when I look at yourself.
That's not what I. Okay.
When I look at yourself, hard, brother.
I was thinking, man,
Hard.
every day when I look at myself, it's so hard to look at myself because I hate myself. That's where I was going.
Oh, no. Hell no, brother. I went the opposite way.
That's a conversation for my therapist.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Anyway, and I began to get very upset with myself for being somebody who doesn't finish a lot of things.
Oh, true, actually.
So, you know what I did yesterday? I turned on Hogwarts Legacy and was like, I should start playing this game again and finish this game. And I played it for like 2.5 hours and finished the game. That's how little I had left. Before, like, the last time I was playing, or like when I was playing it very consistently, I had 3 mainline quests left.
This is definitely a thing that you do.
It is a thing I do, and it is frustrating.
You got very close to like the end of Hollow Knight, I remember back in the
first
day.
time.
Yeah, and just dropped it and like didn't finish it then for forever also.
And I think I've played Hollow Knight like 3 times since then.
Yeah, because it's real good.
Because it's real fucking good. But that's my issue is like finishing something new. There's like a commitment thing that like this is probably a therapy conversation if we're being totally honest.
True. What am I if not like your free therapist, Zach?
All right.
Do you think maybe it has something to do with like the things you enjoy a lot? You don't actually like want them to end. You want to like
it's kind of like edging.
Yeah, definitely like edging.
Yeah.
You want to draw that experience out and just be on the edge for so long. Is that what you think it is?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't. Well, no. See, but I think the issue is like I don't go back and finish them. Like, dude, I played Tears of the Kingdom for like a week. I probably maybe put, I mean, not even a full week, honestly. Like
you're not very.
I maybe put like 15 hours into that game, and
you put more time in than I thought you did, honestly.
Yeah, I well, it's because I spent a lot of time exploring and not doing like quest stuff. But like,
well, sure, that's that game.
I adore what that game is, and I just did not keep playing. So I will be going back and finishing.
Is it because you decided you'd rather wait for Breath of the Wild 2?
Dude.
Sorry, Chaz.
We gotta give Chaz some. You know what? It's been a hot minute since Chaz caught a stray on the old We Don't Want a Podcast. Yeah, man, that was a very funny conversation. We don't need to go that much farther into it.
The basic gist of it is we love Chaz. He makes me shake my head in absolute astonishment sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's why we love him.
But he should never change.
Truly never change, my guy. Yeah. Absolute the best of friends.
So other than finishing Hogwarts Legacy, which by the way is very good. Cool original story in that universe. I know this is several months too late to be giving a fucking review on Hogwarts Legacy.
True.
But truly just a fun game. Some of the stuff got a little repetitive, but the story kept it very interesting because it was very unique.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Other than that, man, I've been chilling. Been reading The Way of Kings a lot. Making some heavy progress into that. I should be finishing that very soon, and it is fucking incredible.
I got a long drive coming up. Maybe I'll listen to some of that on the way.
I think that would be a good idea because I know that you have the attention to be able to do that. I will say this. I'm glad I'm saying this here because we know that a lot of you guys do like to take recommendations and things that we talk about And this is just kind of like a friendly disclosure. I have come to like the audiobook narrator. I don't know his name, but I've come to enjoy him. However, this is one of the largest like world building and like just being overwhelmed with new information that I've ever experienced. And the audiobook is a little more monotone than my preference. So it was kind of difficult to like really absorb all of it at the start. So I was reading the physical book a lot at the beginning because of that. And I'm far enough in where I can do either. And I'm like bought in and I realize what things are and where things are and you know, so but yeah, it was a little difficult. So yeah, just, you know, take that as you will. I think you'll be fine. You know, I know you're a good listener and reader, so I think you'll be great, but
you have been really trying to get me into it lately, and I do want to. I just need to, you know, buckle down and do it.
Last thing. Hold on. I'm sorry. Last thing. Just before we move away from the Way of Kings.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you listened to this, but Sam finished all of Brandon Sanderson's books already.
Wait, not all the books he's ever
written.
All
his books.
All his books he's ever written?
Like
not
all,
or just that series?
No, not just that series.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, dude. I mean, there might be some books that he's written that are like not very big or like well known that maybe she hasn't gotten around to.
How many books is that?
I think she's read like 10 Brandon Sanderson books.
Dude, Sam's obsessive behavior kills me sometimes.
Dude, it's
That's
so
amazing.
Fucking amazing.
That's so funny.
And I haven't even finished the one that I told her to start reading to
follow
along with me.
You were like halfway through it.
Nah, I was like a third of the way through it.
You are the worst.
But now that's my problem. I put shit down and I don't keep going. So
well, your therapy time is up. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
My week since you asked.
That's
has
right.
been fine. I fuck off, Zach. Mainly getting ready for this big camping trip that you and I are going on that I'm very excited for.
Yes. Can't wait.
I also binged the One Piece live action this week. It came out, but we will not talk about that here because we are planning to do eventually something on that. And yeah, that's about it. I am excited to talk about this episode though, Zach. But first, we have something very important to do because it's the first episode of the season, so you know what we do.
Consistency, baby.
We are the kings of consistency, if anything else. Zach, I am hovering which of these scenes to switch to, and I'm like, it's like that meme with like the buttons, like, you know, the guy sweating, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, I did it. Okay. So this is obviously, well, maybe not obviously. This was at the end of last season. Start of season 7. So this is where we were. Tywin still had his iron grip on the top at 80 total points. Tyrion and Jon had tied for second at 71, and everyone else was kind of trailing along behind those three. At the start of this season, so only 7 episodes later, this is where we now stand. Oh, Scott's in dark mode now, baby.
I love that.
Look who has taken the top spot. Zachy
the usurper.
Boy. The usurper, kind of, sort of himself. Tywin has been dethroned. We figured it would happen, and I think we both predicted it would happen this season.
Yeah.
Jon Snow, number 1, 84 points, 28 total times that he has been thrown in.
His point per appearance, though,
it's not incredible. It's come up a lot, honestly, because he was getting a lot of like 4th and 5ths in the early days of the show. But it has come up a lot. Tywin 4 points behind him, but obviously his time is done, so Jon has passed him for good. We also had a big thing about whether Tyrion would ever catch Tywin, and with 6 episodes left, he's still 6 points behind, which I think he, what did he gain, like 1 point? From last
3 points.
He gained 3 points.
Yeah.
But
I don't know how that's gonna go.
Coming up hard, making up big ground was Daenerys. Daenerys only had 57 points at the start of season 7, and she now has 72. She is within striking distance. I don't know if she'll make it, but she is within striking distance of Tywin, which is truly incredible.
That's pretty impressive. I love that you've been doing this and keeping track of this kind of stuff. Like,
and you had no faith in me on this.
I still don't, if we're being totally honest.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm glad that you brought up the Daenerys thing because
we're the Daenerys haters.
Yeah, I would be legitimately curious, like, would other people be capable of being as objective as...
No, no one is.
We're so objective.
I love how humble you are. No one on earth is as objective as we are, Zach. If that's what you're trying to say.
I guess what I'm saying is like people who love Daenerys, I feel like in their head, Daenerys will be on the top of this list.
Yeah.
But we despise Daenerys and are being honest with her positioning and her episodes and performances. For sure. And I think that like her being in the top 5, honestly, is kind of incredible considering how much you and I dislike her.
Agreed. One other one I want to point out real quick is Cersei made huge gains last season also. She had 43 points at the start of season 7, and she now
59.
has
Wow.
59.
Love that.
That is a big jump. I'll just run through the whole top 15 here just for the audio listeners. Jon Snow, Tywin Lannister, Tyrion Lannister, Daenerys Targaryen, Cersei Lannister, Jaime Lannister. Oh, we love them Lannisters. Arya Stark, Littlefinger, Davos, Sam, the Hound, Bobby B, still hanging in at number 12. Love him to death. Robb Stark, Sansa. Oh, Sansa's almost passed. You think Sansa will pass her brother this season? I bet so.
I think so.
She's only 3 points back of Robb. I bet she passes him. And top 15, I don't think I would have ever have guessed this. Hanging around still is old Marjorie Tyrell. Good for her.
Marge. Gotta
Good
love
old
Marge.
Marge.
So obviously listeners, people who are not watching, obviously you can find us on YouTube if you guys want to check this out in video format, but we'll put these up on the Twitter and on the Instagram and throw them up in the Discord for you guys as well. If you're not aware, these are obviously from day one of the show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of impressive to see some of these people still hanging around. Like Robb, yeah. Bobby. I mean, obviously it makes sense that Bobby B with the perfect 5.0.
The perfect 5 points.
500 point per. Yeah, love that. But like Robb Stark still hanging out. Yep. Marjorie still hanging out. Kind of love that, man.
Yeah. It's a cool. I do love just seeing this list from time to time, and I like how we've kept updating it because it is interesting. Like the chase, like, you know, who was gonna finally chase down Tywin, and you know, we figured it would be eventually Jon. Well, for the longest time, we were sure it was Tyrion, but Tyrion majorly stalled out the last couple seasons. But now Jon, our boy, has taken his spot atop the list.
When we finish Game of Thrones, this list will be a definitive best character list.
Yes. I mean, everything we do is definitive. But also, not really, because we put so much emphasis on positioning that it's not a true character. Like, Daenerys is not the 4th best character in Game of Thrones.
No. I guess, like, the most, like, overall... Like, I guess I don't know what we would call it. Like,
it's like a power rankings.
Would it be like a war stat? Like overall?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you know, like, I guess a catch-all.
Yeah, a catch-all stat, most well-rounded.
Yeah.
In all areas, positioning being included. You know.
By the way, shouts to Tyrion for that 10 streak appearance. I think that was I think that was season 1, season 2, probably. Was on the list for 10 straight episodes, which is unheard of.
And maintaining a 352 point per appearance is
for sure
impressive considering. All right,
anyway,
let's stop being
cool
fucking
stuff.
Nerds.
Yeah.
And let's be some nerds and talk about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Zach, so you're going to start us off here. This is season 8, episode 1 of the recap that I definitely for sure did not have
100%.
AI right and put a lot of time into myself. So I hope it's accurate.
I hate my life. I want off this ride. The first episode of the final season of Game of Thrones.
What a good start.
Was a roller coaster of emotions, reunions, revelations, and dragon rides.
Accurate.
Here's a hilariously funny recap of what happened in Winterfell. I appreciate the setup there.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing that one in.
Definitely, yeah. You know what? I thought everyone needed to know what we're doing here. and also they need to know that it's hilariously funny.
Yeah. Jon and Daenerys arrived at Winterfell with their army of unsullied Dothraki and dragons, only to be greeted by cold stares and snarky comments from the Northerners. Those Northerners can definitely be snarky.
Those snarky comments.
Sansa was especially unimpressed by the Dragon Queen and her entourage and made sure to let her know that the North remembers how to throw shade.
I really thought long and hard about that one.
We don't have jobs anymore.
So. We don't. I have 100% of it. The ellipses before how to throw shade. Fucking masterful. Holy shit.
Jon reunites with Bran, who is now a creepy psychic tree boy. Same, honestly. And Sansa, who is not impressed by Daenerys or her fancy titles.
I thought that said titties for a second.
Them fucking titties.
Those fancy titties.
Those fancy titties. Jon reunited with his siblings, Bran and Arya, after years of separation. Bran was his usual creepy self, spouting cryptic messages and staring into people's souls.
True.
Accurate. Arya was more cheerful, but also more lethal, showing off her collection of weapons and skills. Did she show off her skills?
Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Interesting. Okay. She also had a tense encounter with the Hound, who called her a cold little bitch. Aw, they missed each other. So fucking great. Sam meets Daenerys and learns that she roasted his father and brother alive, which makes him very sad and also angry. He then tells Jon the truth about his parentage. He is actually Aegon Targaryen, the rightful heir to the Iron Throne, and Daenerys' nephew. Jon is shocked and confused. That's part 2 of Dazed and Confused, the cult classic.
True.
And probably wondering how to break the news to his aunt lover. God damn, dude. That's
savage.
Talk about a mood killer.
But a bum. Talk about a mood killer.
I am so happy that that's written in.
Meanwhile, Cersei is in King's Landing drinking wine and plotting with Euron Greyjoy, who brings her the Golden Company, a bunch of mercenaries.
What?
A bunch of mercenaries who look like extras from Pirates of the Caribbean. Yo, I was in a savage mood when I wrote this.
Apparently.
She sleeps with Euron, who is very cocky and annoying, true, and tells him that he might be the father of her unborn child, which is probably a lie. Did she tell him that?
I don't think she did.
Definitely, for sure, I wrote that. She also hires Bronn to kill her brothers with a crossbow, which is very ironic and cruel. Theon rescues Yara from Euron's ship, and they part ways. Yara goes to reclaim the Iron Islands, and Theon goes to join Jon and Daenerys in Winterfell.
Hey, accurate.
Speaking of Daenerys, she had a few awkward moments of her own. She tried to bond with Sansa over their mutual love for Jon, but Sansa was not having it. She also tried to make peace with Sam by thanking him for saving Jorah's life, but ended up telling him that she killed his family. Oops.
Dude.
So good. And she finally got to ride a dragon with Jon, which should have been romantic, but was ruined by the fact that one of the dragons was watching them with a jealous glare. Maybe he knows something they don't. Maybe he does. The episode ended with a chilling scene of the Night's King's message, a spiral of human limbs with the severed head, it was kind of the whole body, of Ned Umber in the center, reanimated as a white The message was clear. Winter is here, and so are we.
Clear as day.
Clear as day. That's it for the recap of Winterfell. Tune in next week for more drama, death, and dragons. True! That was fucking incredible.
Yeah, we
should just shut her down now.
we should, yeah.
We cannot defeat the robots. I mean, my amazing writing skills. Zach, I wanna lay all my cards out on the table right here and now.
Okay.
Despite all the shenanigans and the jokes and the whatnot that we've done so far, I enjoyed the hell out of this episode. I don't know about you.
Interesting. Okay.
And we've talked a lot about how unfamiliar, relatively speaking, we are with season 8.
Sure.
So I didn't really know what to expect, but I quite enjoyed this episode.
I enjoyed the episode. I don't think I was like, hell yeah. But I thought it was a solid episode 1 for a season.
See, I think I could go all the way to a hell yeah.
Really?
Like, there are a lot of scenes I really enjoyed. Why don't we talk about it?
Okay. Oh, that's a great segue.
Thank you. As good as my recaps. So the episode obviously starts with Jon and Daenerys riding into Winterfell.
Yeah, I like the intro to this episode a lot.
I think the parallel between like the little kid running and, you know, like episode 1, Arya kind of doing the same thing. Well, it's kind of Arya and Bran are kind of doing the whole thing. And, you know, Arya kind of like makes way for him and smiles. And I right off the bat, I want to say I appreciate how much we saw Arya smiling this episode.
Dude.
Because I feel like she hasn't smiled for like 2 seasons.
That is literally in my notes.
Yes.
Like, I'm not lying, and it's fucking whack, dude. Whack. That you and I do that shit. Like, yeah, it's just so refreshing. Like, I like the Arya as a badass card. Like, I really do think that she's one of the best characters to be a badass. Like, given her story that we've seen, and you always want to root for the little guy, you know, like she's grown into this very capable assassin and warrior, but like she's still a human girl, like a young girl who like cares for her family and like cares for her friends and needs and wants friends and relationships, you know, and like it's just so nice.
Yeah.
It was a very humanizing moment. Not as humanizing as her experience with Ed Sheeran, but a very humanizing moment.
Why did you have to remind me of that in an episode I liked? The other thing I really loved from Arya here is her face. You know that meme of the girl who's like doing the whole like ooh,
yeah, that's Brittany Broski.
Okay, I didn't know who it was. That's Arya's face as she's seen the different people ride up. Like, she sees Jon and she's like, ah! But then she sees the Hound and she's like,
yeah.
Then she sees Gendry, she's like, ah!
She's like, oh shit, that guy looks hot.
Yeah, truly. I loved that. I was like, boy, like, seeing true emotion and, like, just the being a real person again from Arya is like, yes. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I think that there's, since we're talking about Arya and this, like, her being a human, we get another scene that we'll, I'm sure, talk about a little bit more in depth later.
We can talk about it now if you want to.
Okay, like her meeting with Gendry and the Hound.
Gendry and the Hound, yeah. Let's just get it out of the way.
Okay. There's a lot that I like, but I think the interaction with her and Gendry is very good, and the interaction with the Hound is questionable.
I would agree with that. This was, I feel like, one of the more uneven scenes in the episode.
It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I don't, like, I wanted to, I mean, I know how you feel now, but one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this with you is because I actually could not figure out for myself, do I not like this because in my head, I always romanticize their relationship, like like, oh, they're just like such, like buddy cop, like fucking hilarious, great characters that pair together. And that's what I expect because that's my headcanon, or am I an idiot? And like they do have an extremely like torn relationship and like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel like it started out pretty good when he says like, you left me to die, and she comes right back with, I robbed you first. Like that's like
that's accurate.
That's like the them back and forth that we knew and loved for so long. Like because every time he would try to give her shit about something, she would just like come right back at him because she was like not afraid of him or anything.
Right.
And after that, like I can't even really remember what goes on between the rest of it. Is it just then basically does he go right into the "you're a cold little bitch" scene? And
I honestly can't remember the exact, like there's a little more dialogue there.
Yeah,
but
it wasn't the worst, but it didn't fully land for me.
Yeah, and like especially given how much we have seen her grow, I think, and like how we're seeing her have these more human interactions and emotions, and just a more human display, I think, of character. To then go immediately to Gendry and then show that,
yes,
was a little strange back to back.
Yeah.
But then also I kind of have to remind myself, like how would you feel if you ran into somebody that you literally left to die?
Yeah,
like, oh shit,
that's fair. That's definitely fair.
I don't know if it's fair for me to feel this way and like have a somewhat negative tone on this part of the episode. But
listen, I don't think it was a bad scene. It just was. I think because it's Arya and the Hound, I wanted more. If that makes sense.
I think that I can agree with that.
Next thing to kind of go back to the beginning. John's reaction to seeing Bran was so wholesome and pure, and I love him. Bran then immediately ruins it, as Bran does. But just how genuinely happy John is to see him again is just like, I fucking love John so much. That dude, he's such a good dude.
He is such a good dude. Oh my God. Bran was the thorn in my side in this episode.
Really? He wasn't that bad.
No, Bran was awful in this episode.
He's had way worse episodes.
I think that when you put bad Bran episodes next to like especially from last season, it's all bad. Last season's bad.
Yeah, last season's bad.
Like this is a solid episode. And Bran was, in my opinion, was like, he stuck out like a sore thumb. Like he was not good. Like he ruined a lot of beats in this episode for me.
I disagree. I think two scenes stand out in my mind where I think he did work, but we'll talk about them much, much later.
Okay.
What did you think about this whole Daenerys and Jon arriving in the North?
Daenerys and Jon arriving is good. I think that it's a good scene. We already talked about the Arya part of it, which I think that's, in my opinion, that's the scene. Like, true. Jon and Daenerys' arrival is the Arya stuff that we talked about. Like that's what stood out to me. It is kind of funny, like just how not amused the Northerners are.
They're grumpy as hell, bro.
Like it's almost kind of gave me like the feeling of like a little prejudice, like not just like, oh, you're an outside, like, foreign ruler or whatever, but like especially like I felt like it especially when Grey Worm and Missandei are riding through and like all the Northerners are looking at them like I
think that's definitely intentional.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, just kind of an uncomfortable like feeling there, which I think is intentional and good. It worked. I think like it's. I think that would be very real in that situation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like the where it falls apart for me, and I don't know that it's like the entire. writing in thing falls apart. But just it's Bran, dude. When they get there and Jon sees Bran, they're doing their formalities, and Bran like
kind of does ruin the
social
moment.
cue etiquette. Like, we don't have time for this. Like your dragon's dead. They broke the wall. They're marching on us. Like we don't have time.
In Bran's defense, like
he's not wrong, but like,
he's not wrong.
It just doesn't fit.
Listen,
it doesn't work. It doesn't feel right.
I get it, and I don't disagree with you, but I don't think it bothered me as much as it did you.
Like, okay, does Bran have human emotions?
I don't know. Maybe sometimes.
Okay, he's capable of having human emotions.
Maybe, sure.
So then a lot of his other scenes don't work. Like he in this scene, he clearly displays frustration. Is what I'm saying. Like he clearly is frustrated that look, Bran, I'm sorry, bud, but like 5 minutes of introductions is not gonna fucking change anything. I'm sorry you're frustrated. If you can feel frustration though, let's maybe turn it on a little bit when like your fucking brother who hasn't seen you in 10 years like is excited to see you. Like that is the wishy-washy, like shitty thing about Jon or about Bran in this episode that I think sticks out like a sore thumb.
I don't disagree with you in this instance, but I like I said, I don't think it bothered me as much as it obviously bothered you. What I want to say is Lyanna really out here saying what Sansa and the rest of the Northerners are thinking, and good on her for that. But Jon, again, as Jon does, he stands up and just delivers a very like powerful, emotional, from the heart, like what is his exact line? Something like, I want to save the North, you know, like you made me king of the North, but what I truly want is to save the North, and this is basically the only way I know how.
Right.
And it's just like, God damn it, Jon, like, you motherfucker. I will stand for you till the end of time.
Yeah.
Now, the reverse of that, and this is what I was thinking about a lot later when him and Sansa have their conversation, is that, was it really necessary, Jon, for you to bend the knee to save the North? That's, maybe a different conversation, but
I would have loved for it to be a necessity.
Yeah.
Because then it wouldn't have made his decision to bend the knee so controversial and questionable when he did it last season. Like, yeah. I think it's a fault of season 7. I think it's a fault of the way that they wrote that and the order of events, I think that happened.
Sure.
But whatever, I don't know. I mean, that also is possibly me just making an excuse for Jon. Oh, it's not Jon's fault. It's the season 7, writing. So
Could
that's
be.
like, look, hey, I have humility. If that's me being a shithead, then like it definitely very well could be that. But yeah, I mean, I love the scene with Lyanna Mormont. She has constantly been like the person that stands up and delivers something powerful that resonates with the way that the Northerners live their life. It works, and her character has definitely adopted that role, and I'm okay with it, and I don't feel like it's overused. The only thing that I will say in a negative note, or in just more of a constructive note, is I feel like a character like Lyanna Mormont could give a lot more than just that, and I would have liked to see her involved in anything else. Like, just the only time that we see Lyanna is her conversation with Jon, with the very first one where she's kind of a badass.
Yeah.
Right. We love that. Naming Jon King in the North, another scene in the hall there, but they're all the same. And I don't think that those scenes are overdone. It's just that's the only thing we get from her character.
You want more.
I want more of her character. I would like her to be utilized a little more.
I see what you're saying. I think I'm pretty satisfied with her role as it is, but I can see what you're saying.
Like, okay, I mean, I get that we haven't had a 7-season arc for Lyanna Mormont, and she that's not her intention, and I get that. But think about the contrast of like how we always see like powerful, angry, upset Daenerys, and then we get these nice moments of her having like a conversation with Jon, and it's just like refreshing to kind of see her be a human. I think that that's needed for some characters.
I can see that. Yeah.
So anyway, it's a small quibble, just a constructive thing. It doesn't ruin anything for me. It's just it is what it is.
Sure. So yeah, Lyanna, like I said, out here saying what Sansa and the rest of the Northers are thinking. And Sansa out here saying what we've been thinking about Tyrion for the last several seasons.
Yes.
Fuck yes, Sansa. Literally just speaking the words of the audience and our gripes. What does she say to him exactly? Like, I used to think you were the cleverest man in the world. She's like, you believed Cersei, your sister. I used to think you were the cleverest man I ever met. And just walks off. And I'm like,
she told you.
Holy
they're riding up here
shit, Sansa.
To fight with us?
Dude.
And you believed her?
Savagery. Absolute
so good,
savagery.
Dude. Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah,
because it's like fan. Tyrion. We've been saying this for like seasons. What are you thinking, my guy?
Is his weakness supposed to be his family? Like, is that? Do you feel like that makes sense for his character?
Maybe.
It's interesting.
It's difficult because, like, I have to try and separate like book Tyrion and TV Tyrion in my mind.
Sure.
Because especially post season 4, they become very, very different characters.
Sure.
So, I mean, maybe that is the intention. Is that yes, his fatal flaw is his family, but I don't know.
Could be.
What's next here?
I want to talk about Jon reuniting with Arya.
Oh, sure. Yes, hit me.
I think it was severely lacking some dialogue.
It wasn't my favorite scene of the episode, for sure.
These are two characters that are just so loved, and like, aside from just like having some more meaningful dialogue just to make the scene more complete, from like a marketing and like making your audience happy standpoint, like, how are you not gonna lean into that a little more? Like, this reunion is a big deal, or it should have been.
They haven't seen each other since like episode 2 of the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, lean into that just a hair. Give a little, like, fan service is okay when it makes sense. Like, if the reunion happened, right? Like, the reunion happening is not a fan service thing. The fan service part of it would be like, hey, let me give you guys a little more of this because everybody loves these characters and they love each other.
Yeah.
Like, they truly love each other. And it would just be nice to see a little more.
I think because there's like, now there is a little bit of tension between them because of the Daenerys elephant in the room, you know. And I think that aspect of it was played up pretty well because Jon he doesn't like insult Sansa, but he kind of like
he tries to win Arya over.
Right.
Like, pull her to his side.
Right. He's kind of like, you know, a little backhanded a little bit to Sansa, and Arya's just like, she's like the most clever person I know. And like, I think they actually did a decent job of, because they haven't seen each other in so long and they both have changed as people, like so much. I actually kind of, you know, liked that it was a little awkward and a little bit like, yes, they still love each other and yes, they're very excited to see each other, but there's a little bit of like uncertainty and tension between them because of the Daenerys in the equation.
Right. I think that that's fair. I can agree to that. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias, just being like, "Hey, give a little more fan service."
Right.
Like let me see a little bit more of them together.
And I think that's fair because obviously we adore both of these characters, and you want it to be fun, happy times. And I do get that, but like I said, I think I did appreciate that they are such different people. Like Arya was like 8 last time he saw her. I don't know how young she was. I can't even remember, but she's obviously grown and is a very different person. He has grown and is a very different person. And now, Arya is super team Stark, super team North. And, there's this invading force, if you will, that she's uncertain about too. So
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Anything in the North before we check in with King's Landing here real quick?
No, I think the rest of it will probably come back to the North.
Because the King's Landing stuff, I feel like will go pretty quick.
Yeah.
Cersei has added some gold to her all black outfit. It does help a lot.
It does help.
I complained about the all black garb there for a bit. She's real mad about the elephants, but I'm sure the CGI team is just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
God, we don't have to animate
I love the
elephants.
explanation too. Like the explanation
the
because they're
Caribbean
like
extra?
yeah because they're like guys, last season we said they have elephants and they're like, we can't afford the elephants.
So fucking much money to animate elephants.
We've already started editing episode 3 of this episode. We cannot afford the elephants.
Yeah, 100%.
And so they're like, well, let's write it in somehow.
Sea voyage bad for elephants. The end.
Yeah. It's so fucking great, dude.
It's very good. Yeah, Euron still sucks. That's a surprise to literally no one ever.
I don't think that this might be an issue for maybe a little bit more later in the season, but I remember feeling this way the first time watching this season, but I'm just so sad at how unhype the Golden Company is.
That's kind of fair.
Like, I remember watching this, watching season 7 for the first time and being like, dude, the Golden Company, geez, that's gonna be fucking wild. And they talk about it too. Like, aside from like book and lore knowledge, like they talk about like the biggest mercenary force,
right.
The most badass mercenary force. Like, they're so hardcore. And then the first introduction is like, some of our men died because they were cheating, and it's okay. They weren't great fighters. Like, you're not gonna miss them. Like,
that was shit.
Not
season
good.
7 writing again. It's like that didn't need to be there, because what I was gonna say is, like, when they're all lined up, the shot we get on the boat, like, they look impressive.
Yeah. Like,
the stats, like 2,000 horse, like, what was it, 10,000 men, like
20,000 men.
20, is that that many? It's like, hey, that's cool, that's impressive, and like he does everything, Euron fucking ruins it.
Yeah.
Also, old Strickland, like, I don't know, he just doesn't.
He doesn't exude much, like
that. Like, nothing against the actor or anything, but he
probably likes to watch also.
The North remembers how to throw some shade, and so does Zachary.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, I don't have anything else about. I think this is a revenge anger bang here for Cersei. She's pissed at Jaime big time. I think that's all I have to say about this, basically.
I love, like, how, I mean, this is not true. I don't love this. Okay, this is, what is that called? What am I trying to say?
Sarcasm?
This is called sarcasm.
Excellent.
Thanks for the help on that word.
Yeah, you love sarcasm.
I love how the Game of Thrones writers are.
Ignore that.
What would we do without our executive producer, Scott? Always
The
got us
audio
on
listeners
lock.
are gonna be so confused.
Always got us locked down. Scotty Westside, executive producer of We Don't Want a Podcast Incorporated.
Fucking
Holy
say what you want to say,
shit, my
bitch.
guy.
It's so hot in this room.
Okay, so I love that they just lean into the fact that like that this fucker is just the most arrogant, cocky son of a bitch, and they're just like, we know our audience despises this, but we're just gonna keep it rolling and like not dial it back even
This
a
is
hair.
still part of the sarcasm, right?
I mean, I'm being more real here. Like
Okay,
the whole Euron thing, like after they fuck, he's like, how'd I do?
That was pretty good though, right?
I mean, you know what? Actually, hold on. I'm going to take a different view that I just thought. We love a good sexual communicator, guys. We love a man who will communicate with his woman after sex.
True.
Make sure that he was able to perform and do well for his woman.
Yeah. Learn from mistakes, possibly,
Yeah.
and improve. That's, absolutely.
You got to slip in a little. Was I bigger than the last guy though?
Props to Euron here, big time, absolutely.
Yeah, dude, what a good communicator.
I think he probably deserves number 1 on who be thrown in. Who could say? Well, we'll say later. The real.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. The quick bronze scene, I did get a very good laugh out of when Qyburn is like,
Gives
she'll
him the
die of
crossbow?
the pox. No,
Oh, yeah,
she'll die of the pox within the year, and Bronn is like, which one?
Which one now? Hold on.
Dude, that was genuinely very funny.
Yeah.
I
I love when Qyburn gives him the crossbow and he's like, that fucking family,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
these people are just so ridiculous.
He's so fucking over this family.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a small thing, but obviously, like, I love Bronn, and he is funny in this scene.
Yeah.
Also, just him like, can we not talk about the fucking dragons? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, my poor dude just wants to like live in peace, and no one will. Leave
He just
him
wants
alone.
to fuck in peace, dude.
True, and I think we
Who
can
can
all
blame him?
relate. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we can all relate.
Absolutely.
So then we go back to the north, and my guy Davos is the only one with half a brain who is out here like, hey guys, maybe we don't have to worry about all this Jon Snow bowing to the queen and who's the king of the north. What if they just fucked and ran the realm together? Like, have you seen those two? They're both hot as shit. Anyone? Anyone?
Any takers.
And
Come
I'm just
on.
like, that's my guy, Davos.
Arguably two of the smartest people in the realm right
Yes.
here, and you guys aren't biting on this shit?
Right,
Come on, what is
exactly.
happening right now?
Exactly. That's my guy, Davos, spitting the hot truths. How has no one brought this up yet to this point?
That is really, truly startling that it has not been mentioned at all. Like,
Yeah. You would have thought Tyrion, did he ever bring it up in season 7 when they were talking about Jon?
maybe not with Jon. No. I don't think that they ever brought it up in season 7, but like, even when when they're leaving, where the fuck were they at? Marine?
Whatever.
Fucking perma boring story.
True.
She tells Dario 2.0.
Oh, yeah, she'll have to marry for
I'll
alliances
have to
and
marry.
stuff. Yeah.
Like, who else would be a suitor?
Did she just immediately forget that conversation?
Everybody did. The writing team certainly did. Jesus, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, this seems like an easy, quick, simple fix. I think Varys is like, they are pretty fucking hot together. Like, you're not wrong. Also, it was in this scene in particular where I was kind of like, hey, this feels like the Varys, the Davos, and the Tyrion, that this writing is fun. And they're not just like being quippy. Like, I felt, and I don't know if this was just me, but I felt like the writing just felt good again. And it's maybe just these three being great because I love all three of them. But
I don't see here. I think here's where our difference is, man. I don't think that it felt good again. I think it felt better than season 7.
That you may have just nailed it there. But yeah, you're right. That's a low bar to cross for sure. Maybe you're right. And maybe that is what I'm comparing it to.
But still, I mean, credit where it's due. Like,
yeah.
it is better than what we just watched. So
for sure. Then I think what's next is probably my second favorite scene of the episode, which is the Jon and Sansa scene. And I alluded to this earlier.
Is this before or after the dragon ride? I can't remember now.
I think it's... I don't actually remember.
Okay. And
my recap was very helpful. Keeping things straight. Yeah, I can't. It might be after the dragon ride.
Doesn't matter.
What Jon is saying is totally right to Sansa. He's like, I want to save the North. I know what we're up against. We cannot beat them without her. I will do whatever it takes to save the North. That is all well and good. But what he is not telling her is that, again, as we talked about, he bent the knee after she had already pledged to help.
Yes.
And I think that dynamic is really interesting. And also, I love that Sansa is not anybody's fool. She's not an idiot.
She
knows she doesn't know that, oh, you bent the knee after she pledged, obviously.
Right.
But she knows the real reason is that he's in love with her.
Right.
And this scene is not a long scene, and there's not much more to it than that, but I really enjoyed it. We've talked about it plenty of times. We really love Sansa when she's, especially in these last couple seasons when she's, no nonsense. She's, come so far, grown up so much, and
yeah, I mean, she's running shit. Like, yes, to some degree, and it's cool to see that dynamic, in growth from her, and yeah, and I love, just like you said, I love that she calls Jon on it, and putting it in that perspective is interesting. Like, I honestly hadn't even really thought like oh yeah, like he did bend the knee after she had already pledged to help. Like, Sansa kind of hit the nail on the head there. Right.
And Sansa doesn't know that exact chain of events takes place, but what she does know is that there's more to
their
than what Jon is saying.
Right.
Which I think is great. And I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah. Man, all I could think about during the dragon riding sequence was now this is pod racing.
Yeah, okay, listen. This is not the best episode or the best scene in the show by far.
Dude.
But also, listen, maybe it was just because my mind flashed back to all the memes that came out of Drogon staring at Jon. But I got a good chuckle out of that part of it at the end. The rest of it, I'm just like, what the
I have a quote here, actually.
Okay.
It's cold up here for a southern girl, so keep your queen warm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some pod racing.
You think maybe that the Game of Thrones writing team just isn't great at writing romance? Because they haven't had a good romance to fucking write?
That's like some Anakin fucking romancing Padme shit right there.
Padme?
Padme. I had pod racing on my fucking mind. Yeah, listen, that line, not great.
It's cold up here for a southern girl, so keep your queen warm.
Although, listen.
P.S. Drogon likes to watch.
Drogon definitely loves to watch. For all the shit you're giving this scene, and warranted, I would just like to say again how much more I cannot even express how much more I enjoy Daenerys and her character when
With
Emilia
John.
Clarke is like with John, but like when Emilia Clarke is like genuinely smiling and laughing,
Yeah.
which I feel like has, and again, maybe it's just the chemistry that those two have on screen together, but it's like a genuine difference in her just general air and attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I could like this person.
Yeah.
And
I agree with that.
The first 5 seasons that just, or 6 seasons, whatever it is, it's like that barely existed.
She doesn't, man, that's such a good call out, dude. Because like it's not, it really isn't just a John thing. Like, think about her first 5 seasons. Like, who does she have around her to have more delicate and like
fair.
fun and lighthearted interactions? Dario, a fuckboy?
No.
You know what I mean? Jorah,
Dario.
a fucking creep old guy who's obsessed with her, like, and who only can like think about like serving her and like loyalty. Like
Probably the closest she would have would be Missandei, which is kind of a different deal.
and even then, she didn't start having fun conversations with Missandei until last season.
And then the other one would really be Barristan Selmy. But that's a very different relationship.
Poorly underutilized.
Truly.
Like it's an absolute fucking travesty how underutilized Barristan was around Daenerys.
But
you're
right. It's just like in these moments, I'm like, oh, I love Emilia Clarke. Like she's so like you can just feel the joy coming off her all of a sudden.
Every single interaction that Dany has is a power dynamic interaction.
In most scenes, you're saying.
Well, sure. Like, yeah, in seasons 1 through 5, 1 through 6, like this like display of power and like I'm above you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not enjoyable because she doesn't have enough, in my opinion, doesn't have enough other things that keeps her interesting and fun. Yeah. Anyway, wow, I'm glad that we're talking. Like, I know that you and I have talked about her interactions with John and like really liking their scenes before, but I think that that's a really good, that puts some understanding to it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Bless Sam's heart.
Poor guy.
Dude, I
Poor
love him
guy.
so much. This poor dude.
Fucking
oh my
Ebros
God.
didn't say shit, dude.
Fucking Ebros. God damn. What was the name of the guy that they were like shitting on? I can't even remember.
I don't know. I wanted to say Floyd, but I know that's your friend's name.
No,
that's not. It
my
wasn't
buddy's
Floyd.
name. It definitely wasn't Floyd.
Floyd.
Fucking Floyd.
It was a fake name. It wasn't a real name. Like
It was like Pauliver. No, I know who Pauliver is. It was something like that. It was a weird name. Anyway, poor fucking Sam. I feel so bad for him here because he's such a sweet soul, and this just breaks him.
it really does.
And
Poor guy.
You know what? Shouts to Daenerys for doing the hard thing and telling him outright and owning it. Because she could have pulled an Ebros and just like fucking walked away. So I gotta give her credit for that, but it's just like this whole interaction is just like so shitty because she starts out like thanking him, and I'm sure Sam is like over the moon, you know, that someone is thanking him for something he's done, and then it goes to his family is dead, and that's just it sucks.
I also adore that he's like, there's one thing like you could. I may need a pardon, and she's like, "What crime have you committed?" He's like,
Stole some books.
I stole some books, and she literally looks at Jorah like, "Are you
This
fucking
guy.
serious with this guy?"
Yeah.
It's very good.
This is the dude that saved you, huh? Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's
It's so great.
it's great. And then we get to my favorite scene of the episode, I think by far, which is Sam and John.
Well, see, we don't get there immediately.
Do we not?
We get to the scene where Sam confronts Bran, and Bran, for some reason, is like, "Nah, I don't want to be a part of that conversation."
Right. See, no, you hate this. I kind of like this interaction. I don't love it like I love the next scene, but
it tees up a better scene for it to be just John and Sam. But like, what is the decision for Bran being like, "No, I can't be there"?
Listen,
it does not make sense.
No, I view this as Bran acknowledges he's a fucking psycho tree weird boy. And to his point, when he tells Sam there's no one he trusts more than you, I think that's accurate. Like,
can Bran not share a vision with somebody?
I don't think so. I don't know.
He may not be able to.
No, unless they're also a green seer. I don't see how that would work.
Gotcha. Okay. That was not a reason that it upset me. I was genuinely curious.
Book John probably is a green seer. Anyway, maybe I might be remembering that wrong.
He's a warg. I know
he's
that.
definitely a warg. Anyway, it doesn't matter. See that I think that scene's totally fine because I agree with Bran. Sam is the one to tell him this, not creepy weird tree person Bran.
Okay.
I don't like it when you just okay me and have that dissatisfied look on your face.
I don't think that what you're saying is wrong. I get where you're coming from, and I have to be okay with it because I do really like the Sam John scene, like a lot.
I think, and I want to preface what I'm about to say by saying I do not think this is like the best scene in the show. It had a lot to live up to considering this is Jon's parentage being revealed to him, which is arguably just as important or more as important than being revealed to us. He asked Ned about who his mother was in episode 2 of the fucking series, and we have been building and teasing that for 60 some odd episodes. And I think for how much weight this scene has to carry, it's basically perfect. I love Sam and Jon together, obviously, so much. Sam is hurting from the news he just received, and I think that aspect of it comes through very well. I love it. I love it so much.
That's interesting. I really like it, but I don't feel that strongly about it.
Did you have just like any problems with it, or did you just not feel strongly about it?
I did have a couple. Like I think that my problem, and I don't know that I would go so heavy-handed just to say problem, but the slight issue that I took with it is like the importance of this conversation shows itself in the location, which is great. And it shows itself as almost, I think you're going to kind of hate that I feel this way, but like, I just feel like this conversation felt too like punchy. It felt too like one-liner.
Really?
Yes. Like when you're going to have this conversation with somebody, like you don't start a conversation and then be like, no, I'm not talking about your crown, like the King of the North crown. I'm talking about the whole fucking country. Like
he doesn't say it like that.
No, but like,
because Jon's walking away from him at that point.
I understand, dude, but like, you gotta understand when you're gonna have a conversation that heavy with somebody. Yes, theatrically, it looks beautiful. It works in the crypt, but like, this is like, hey man, I have uncovered some stuff. We need to talk about your parentage. Like we need to have a conversation. And this is going to be this, depending on how you take it, this could be kind of a difficult conversation, a hard pill to swallow. But like, I just kind of feel like it was like it felt punchy. It felt like a one-liner type of like reveal. Like it needed to be revealed to Jon the way that it's revealed to the audience.
Let me counter with my perspective on this. The way I view this is that the way it came across to me and what you're talking about, like with it being punchy, is that Sam is very much hurting right now. He obviously did not want to be the one to tell Jon these things. And it's just everything is kind of coming out in a rush. Like it's Sam. He's not like, the most eloquent speaker in the world. It's just kind of the news, that what he has to get across to Jon is just kind of tumbling out of him in a rush because he's so like, he has so much going on in his head and he doesn't know how to fully express it. He doesn't, he can't calmly, rationally explain it like maybe you want him to. Like, listen, Jon, I have some big news for you that may change your perceptions on a lot of, like, no, it just kind of tumbles out of him in a rush and like, this is what we found out and you're actually the king. And Jon starts to walk away and he realizes like, no, I have to make Jon understand. The king of the whole 7 kingdoms, dude.
Like I guess with the way that it's delivered, and look, this might be inadvertently giving credit to like Bran wanting it to come from Sam, but the way this conversation happens, the only way that it is believable is because it's Sam telling him.
Well, yeah,
but like I don't know, I just think that there needed to be more explanation there. Like, it was just like, I'm just going to say this and like, you're going to trust me because I'm your friend, not because I'm going to make it believable.
Well, I think that's a big aspect of it is because, yes, Jon doesn't dismiss this out of hand and it hits him hardest because it is coming from Sam. And he can trust Sam.
He can, but Sam can't be wrong. Like, Sam shouldn't have to explain like, this is what we found out.
Listen, I think Jon appreciates that with the weight of the situation in the way that Sam is telling him this, like Sam wouldn't, just tell him if he wasn't sure, Like, he just got done telling him about his family being murdered and that's a big deal. But Sam is like, but there's something more important I need to talk to you about. And that's like, that gives some heavy weight to what he then tells him.
Yeah, I suppose. Like, it's really, really leaning on
their relationship, which is incredible. The Jon and Sam relationship is goated.
But I just feel like there should be a little more, dude. Like, there's nothing the matter with their relationship being like the reason that it doesn't immediately make Jon like say that this is stupid. But where's the here's what happened?
Well,
are they cutting that simply to save time for the audience because we know what happened?
I don't know. I think Jon does attempt to like fight back a little because he then comes back at Sam with like, my father was the most honorable man I ever knew, and you're telling me he lied my entire life to me about this.
And Sam goes, no, well, your father, Ned Stark, promised your mother that he'd, so-and-so and Robert Baratheon would have killed you. And then Jon is like, oh, shit, you right.
Well, yeah. Like, I feel like you're saying, like, Jon just accepted it immediately, and he didn't. But Jon has to know that. Maybe he doesn't have to know.
This
is
just more of a conversation than what we saw, man, is what I'm saying. Like, if you sat there and told me, you know what, some of this probably was discussed off screen, I'd be like, okay, I will kind of accept that.
No, because I would hate that.
It would be cooler
if
we saw it. But, like, you're telling me that you would be okay with them walking out of the crypt together, being like, cool, glad we came to this understanding. There's not going to be more of a conversation?
Well, there probably is, but like...
That's what I want. I want that part of it.
Again, listen, I'm obviously not going to change your mind on this, and you're not going to change my mind on this.
It's just the biggest fucking piece of this whole story, in my opinion.
It is, and that's why I'm saying it's so good, because it doesn't take place in some big, like, throne room somewhere. It's just two best friends in the crypt. One of them has just heard some fucking terrible ass news, and he's doing something he knows has to be done, and he's speaking from his heart, and it's Sam, and he's my delicious cinnamon roll soul that is perfect. And
even if Sam was like, had just said like, I'm not sure how to have this conversation, like,
that's not something that I would immediately check out, because that is not a Sam thing to say. That would be the worst.
Sam could totally.
That would be the worst fucking line. That would be worse than keep your queen warm.
I don't know. It something about it just felt like it was missing. Let me be clear. I don't like what was there. What was there was good. I just think that there should have been something else.
You said you don't like what was there. What was there?
Oh,
was
I'm
good.
I'm sorry. I didn't have a problem with what was there.
Okay.
You
wanted more?
I wanted more.
Like a longer conversation?
Maybe a longer conversation. Like, I want more of the realization from Jon. I want more of the pieces are starting to fit. Like,
I think, listen, for news that big, the human mind, can't grasp that all at once. Like, I think you have to give him some time to grapple with that. You're wanting him to come to terms with it and fully accept it all in once.
That's not what I said. No, but just with the way that I think this wasn't my intention when I said it earlier, in my argument, but it kind of helped me paint a picture. With the way that the conversation goes in the crypt that we see, I cannot picture them walking out of the crypt not continuing to talk.
You are really you're overthinking.
How does this conversation end?
Listen,
do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying, and that's where you have to stop your brain and suspend your disbelief, because you can say that, how does this conversation end and how do they move on from here, about 90% of scenes in a television show.
Yeah, but 90% of scenes are not delivering some of the biggest information of the entire series. That is my
nitpicking ass over.
That is my issue. Just a little more.
All
Guys, listeners, watchers, let us know what you think.
You know what?
To be clear,
I'm happy about this because we fucking never disagree.
Yeah,
so hey,
I know. Yeah, we don't. But
fucking good
we're
for
both
us.
Clearly very passionate about it. It's.
This scene was perfect. I don't care what you say.
Wow.
Again,
this is going in the bag of best scenes.
Not for me. It is not. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you this is the best scene in the entire episode or series. It is the best scene in this episode. But for what it needed to accomplish, and for the buildup, the immense pressure that had to be on this, I'm 100% satisfied with what it did.
Wow.
So
I would say I'm probably somewhere around the 75 to 80% satisfied.
Listen, I think that's fair and reasonable. You're not terribly far off.
Yeah. Let it just be clear. I don't have any issues with how it happened.
Listen,
or what happened.
If you're sitting here and telling me you just want more of Jon and Sam together, I will absolutely shake to that. If they want to have a 20-minute conversation about fucking in front of dragons, I will sign the fuck up immediately.
All I'm asking for is another 1 to 2 more minutes of that conversation.
So Drogon just kept staring at me, Sam.
I want the uncomfortable silences. I want the hesitation, Jon, obviously realizing Sam's telling the truth and maybe questioning more. How'd you figure this out? I want that. That's what I want. Everything else that was there stays because it was very good.
Okay.
Just needing that extra bit is my issue. But
look,
all right, we'll move forward.
Sign me up for more Sam and Jon always. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. Ed's beard is looking fucking great. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
my guy,
my boy,
went to the fucking
Dolly
salon.
D.
There is a very famous salon in between Castle Black and Last Hearth, so he must have got all
They do a
dolled up there.
sick fade there.
They do it. He's looking hot. I love Ed. I am so happy to see him again. Great stuff. Also,
how do you feel about that whole?
It's whatever. That scream is creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Ned Umber.
That's
does,
Karstark.
though.
Or no, Umber.
Yeah, Ned Umber.
Yeah. Kind of weird that's knowing what we know about the rest of the series. Kind of weird that they chose in season 8 to bring back the weird designs, huh?
I'm not sure I remember what you're talking about with knowing what we know, but yeah, it is kind of weird that we haven't seen that since season 2?
No, we see it when we get the explanation of the children creating.
Yes. The stones. Yeah.
Yeah.
This scene is totally fine. For moving that whole plot along. Tormund, I've always had blue eyes, was pretty fun. Didn't mind that. But mostly I couldn't take my eyes off Ed's beard, like the entire time.
Okay.
That was it. Speaking of great beards and sexy men, Jaime arrives at Winterfell is how this episode ends. And, we sing his praises constantly, but shouts to Nikolai Coster-Waldau for the just perfect, like...
Oh, shit face.
Realization and just, like, dread, yes, the oh, shit face that comes over him when he sees Bran, because I'm like, yeah, that's it. That is the only reaction
that would
to
make
have
sense.
there. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a quote. Oh, duh. Jesus.
What the hell just happened to you?
For all the
Sam, I almost called you Sam. Zach just had a strong.
For all the shit that I was giving John Samsine, I had a quote written in my notes, and I'm like, where was this quote at? I really like this.
It was in the same. You absolute motherfucker.
It was in that scene.
I hate you so much.
Hey,
I really like this quote. Where could it have gone?
I will say, just like I said, I loved what I saw. I just wanted to see more.
I hate you so much. What's the quote?
John says she'll be a good queen for all of us. She's not her father. Wait, I'm reading a wrong quote. I'm sorry. Sam says, I'm so sorry. Sam says, you gave up your crown to save your people. Would she do the same?
Yes. Fuck, yes. I did. I meant to write that quote down and I totally spaced on it. Yes.
Yeah, very good.
What a great fucking quote.
Yeah,
Sam is
very good.
The realest of the reals.
Okay, why does it need to go to that? Like, oh, you're supposed to be the king and not her. Like, why is this conversation more about, like, oh my God, this is a real thing?
Wait, you lost me. I'm confused.
What I'm saying is that, like, it seems that Sam has heavy implications of, like, Dany shouldn't be the queen, you should be the king.
Well, I think it's probably going to that because he just found out she murdered his family, and is probably a little upset about it, even though he did hate his dick father. He did not hate his dick on.
That's probably fair. His dick. Speaking of the quote that I mistakenly read,
that was Sansa.
That was
right?
Sansa. Yeah. John's telling her she'll be a good queen for all of us. She's not her father. I have a little blurb here. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's called foreshadowing.
That is called foreshadowing. Yeah, doesn't Sansa come back with
Freddie
she's
foreshadow.
Much prettier.
Yeah.
That was my second favorite scene in this episode. Any final thoughts? I think I hit all mine. I love how you totally just immediately realized, oh shit, wait, yeah, that scene was great.
That's not what happened.
Where could this quote be from?
Shit, man, I really like this quote. Where was it from?
I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Are we ready to thrown in?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Who be thrown in where we last left off at the end of season 7. Cersei Lannister had taken the top spot. Jaime Lannister was at 2. Jon Snow was at 3. Sansa at 4. And Sam Tarly was at 5. I would say everyone except Jaime probably has a case to stay. Maybe won't stay, but has a case. But we'll pull them down. Sansa, Cersei, Jon, and Sam. Why don't you hit me? Who are you thinking definitely needs to make the list?
I think without question, Arya needs to make the list.
Interesting. Okay.
I feel like to me, every Arya scene was good. Even the questionable Hound one.
Yeah.
I still really liked it.
I don't disagree. I don't know if I would have thought of that off the top of my head, but I don't disagree.
Well, I mean, you have all the other ones that I would have said, I feel like.
I think that's probably true. Is there anyone else? Gendry?
Davos for suggesting they get married.
Listen, I will always consider Davos.
I know you. He probably won't be able to beat out other people that are listed, but like
maybe we'll keep him up there for now. Gendry or the Hound? Not the Hound.
Why Gendry?
I don't know. I'm just throwing out names of people.
Yeah. No.
Oh, here, Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock.
Oh my God.
Fucking my guy. With
you
the
know what?
greatest
I
beard.
may have allowed it if you had updated his picture with.
Oh,
a beard.
you know what? That's fair. If I had that new sexy Ed beard picture, I'll shake to that. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. I sorry, Ed. That's my bad. That's my bad, bro.
Yeah.
Lyanna Mormont. Maybe.
You're on Greyjoy.
Fuck off. Not happening.
He banged Cersei. Good for him. I don't think
Daenerys.
Daenerys is one that we need to consider. You liked her scenes.
I mostly did. I don't think
you
she
sang her
like...
praises a lot in this
No,
episode.
I did. I just don't think she did quite anything that like blew me away.
Sure.
Tyrion's a big no. Bronn? Probably not.
No.
I think I'm gonna take. I put Lyanna up here. I think I'm gonna take her off too. Like her part is just too small.
It is.
I think it's probably between these. I am gonna go ahead and say I would like Sam very, very high, if not at the top of this list. Because I think his two scenes were, well, three, I guess, if you count the one with your boy, Bran Muffin. I think he was phenomenal in all of them. And he is doing things to move the plot forward quite a bit.
I would agree with him being high on the list purely because of his performance.
Yes.
In those scenes.
Do you have someone else? Like, listen, I'm not tethered to him being like the top spot. Do you have anyone you feel very strongly about? Aside from, sounds like Arya, maybe?
I do feel pretty strongly about Arya. I also feel pretty good about Sansa and Cersei.
Cersei, less so for me. I feel pretty strongly about Sansa too. I think her scenes were very good. I liked how she kind of didn't take no shit, no nonsense in like the meeting hall scene. She called out Jon real well. We didn't talk a lot about Sansa and Daenerys' conversation, but I feel like it was pretty good, wasn't it? It was pretty quick.
It was. Dude, I have a note on that conversation.
Well, what is it?
Dude, well, I mean, it's just very quick, but Dany's side eye when she says that dragons eat whatever they want.
Yeah.
Is so menacing, dude. That side eye was like daggers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was very funny. All right, that's really. I know that's not their like direct conversation,
right.
but yeah, you know, I think that look, you clearly feel very strongly about Sam, and I don't feel that strongly about somebody else as an absolute lock at one. So if that's what you're leaning, I would go for that.
Okay.
Something about it just doesn't feel like.
Here's where I'm at, because this is such a like catch up check-in episode, as like most of episode ones of seasons are.
Yeah.
Nobody is really making big power plays.
Sure.
So I feel like you almost have to go based on quality of the scenes in an episode like this. And that's why I feel so strongly about Sam, because nobody's position really changed from where they were at. Like, I suppose you could all argue Cersei, because the Golden Company has arrived, but we already kind of counted that as a win for her.
Yeah.
We knew they were coming.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think I'm all right with Sam being one. To me, the only other person that fits that is Arya, in my opinion, and I don't think that her scenes are nearly as weighted as Sam's.
That's my yeah.
But I really enjoyed her scenes.
See, and I feel like I even enjoyed the Arya and Jon scene more than you did, and I pretty much I think the only small stumble is the. And again, I think maybe we do have her and the Hound hyped up so much in our mind that like nothing could have lived up to the expectations.
Sure.
I would be fine with her at 2.
Arya 2. Man, Jon was also very good this episode.
Jon was really good.
What if we go Jon 2?
Over Arya?
Arya 3. I think I like that more, honestly.
I don't have super
especially
strong
with how much he
feelings
loved the Sam Jon scene. I mean, Jon was a big part of that as well.
Yes. No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And I just remembered I really liked his speech at the beginning as well.
Yeah.
So I will absolutely shake to that. Although he did get cock blocked by a dragon.
I mean, we don't know. The camera cut
True.
rolling.
Yeah, listen. He probably just kept eye contact.
Let
with
me ask you
the entire
one thing here.
time he was
with Arya. God damn it, Scott. All right, do we go Arya over Sansa?
I like Sansa a lot. She definitely makes the list for me. Because
here's the issue. I feel like Dany should be counted in this list. But if the rest of our list looks like Sansa, and you know what? No, I think that's it. I think it's either Sansa and Arya. There's an argument for either of them at 3. The next one goes 4, and I think Dany goes 5.
I think I'm with you. I think it is Sansa and Daenerys are our 2 last ones here. Cersei just doesn't.
Cersei gets the Golden Company, but her scenes aren't great.
Right, and we kind of gave her credit for that.
Her scenes include Euron, so that's almost an immediate disqualifier.
True. And again, we basically gave her credit for the Golden Company last season. At the end of last season, she was number 1. Yeah, so I think we're just down to order.
And she has no elephants. So
true. I think Daenerys definitely goes 5, and it's a toss-up for me. I think I'd give the slight edge to Arya, but that's
I
your
will
call.
say I enjoyed Arya more, and so if that's the tipper there, then sure.
I think we stick with that.
The only thing that I will say that Sansa holds over Arya is like, I think her scenes were possibly a little bit more like
weighty.
Yes, like her calling out Jon is big. Her confrontation of Dany during the like in the hall.
I agree, but Arya acting like a human again and smiling and laughing puts her over the top for me.
Okay, all right, that's cool. We're on the same page then.
Okay.
I think that's super fair.
That's where we landed then. This is a solid list. That is Daenerys Targaryen at 5, Sansa Stark at 4, Arya Stark at 3, Jon Snow, never calling you Aegon Targaryen, bucko, at 2, and my boy Sam Tarly with the best scenes of the episode.
Brotherless, fatherless, Samwell Tarly.
Yeah, truly. Oh, my poor dude.
He's so sad. Literally heartbroken.
How he had to sniffling excuse himself.
And she's
oh my
yes,
God,
you can get the fuck out of here.
So bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Poor guy.
Zach, I want to hear what you were rating this episode first.
Yeah.
Because I am obviously higher on it than you are.
I had this at a solid 6.
Jesus. I was trying to decide between 8 and 8.5.
Wow. That's maybe our widest disparity then.
I quite enjoyed this episode.
So I mean, I've
you're
already
not allowed
said
to
it.
change.
No,
you're
that's
not allowed
what I'm saying. I've already said it, and I'm going to stick with it. prior to our conversation, I came into this thinking that this was a 6.
Okay, listen,
I think that through
enough.
our conversation, I think I've realized that I did really enjoy some areas of this episode a lot more than I was maybe giving credit to. But I've already said 6, and that was my initial knee-jerk.
I'll stick with my knee-jerk, too. I was thinking 8. I think as we had the conversations about it, I also was thinking maybe to bump it up a little bit, but I'll stick with my original. I'll stick with 8. Yeah, probably our biggest differential ever, I would guess.
Yeah.
So for me, and listen, like, not to put the cart before the horse here, but I know that the next episode 2 of season 8, is one you have professed to be one of your favorite episodes in the entire series. So if that one holds
Mind you,
up,
I haven't rewatched it.
Right, true,
I've watched some
true.
scenes before, but I've not rewatched the episode. So,
but if that one holds up, I don't know. Season 8 kind of starting off hot. If you're asking me.
Yeah. I also, to follow up on you not putting the cart before the horse. I know we said this at the end of season 7, but for anybody who may be just picking up now or maybe didn't catch the end of that episode, Scott and I were not as critical on initial viewing of season 8 as much of the audience was.
Right.
And I think that there is a higher level writing that takes place during season 8, like dialogue, character interactions, character moments. I remember that from the first time watching this season.
Yes.
Despite not everybody loving where characters end, because ending a show is extremely difficult.
So hard.
Despite that, which we will obviously get to that, I do recall thinking that season 8 was not bad television.
Yeah.
Which is not how I felt about season 7.
Correct.
So we are starting off, I think, displaying that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And we will see how we continue to view it and digest all this stuff with you guys. So thank you guys for listening and watching. If this is your first time, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Continue following along with us as we finish off the series. And if you're a long-time listener, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much. We don't love you newbies yet, but that's what that sounded like.
Zach. You got to stick around a little longer before you earn our love.
Before we start letting you watch, if you know what I'm saying. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.